Hello and welcome to the Leveraged Income Challenge, where we're going to be talking over the next few days about how you can get the most of your time so that you can serve more people while earning more money. Hi, I'm Tammy Metzler, and for those of you who may not know me, I began my business nearly 6 years ago by offering copywriting and editing services to small business owners. But as many of you might be finding out, I quickly found myself growing tired of constantly searching for my next client, for coming up against price resistance from small business owners with small budgets, and just feeling like I was constantly scrambling to find time for everything in my life and my business. You know, the marketing, the customer service, fulfilling my client projects, and doing everything else that I needed to run my business on top of being a full-time mom to my young daughter. So then a few years back, I discovered that it was possible to leverage my time. That is, to work less while earning at least the same amount of income, if not more in many cases. And just within the last year, in fact, within about the past 5 months, 5 months ago, my husband and I discovered that we are going to be having a little munchkin in the house. So our second child is on its way, and with that realization, I really got serious about focusing on leveraged income to help free my time for both myself and for my family, while still being of service to the people that I truly feel need the information that I have to share on writing to sell, and also still providing a good income for my now expanding family. And I've discovered what it really takes to successfully earn leveraged income, along with what you shouldn't do unless you enjoy wasting your time and resources, which I don't know many people who do. So, and I just want to share this information with those of you who like the idea of working once and getting paid over and over again. People who don't want to be chained to your desk, but would rather spend a few hours working smarter while still feeling like you're contributing, both to the people that you want to serve, to your family and loved ones, and to the world in general, by providing services that can expand past just you to affect the families and communities of the people you serve also. You know, I think this is so cool because it's like a giant ripple effect. You help your clients to, earn more money, be more healthy, find love, start families, or whatever it is that you help people to do. And they, in turn, can use that information to become happier, to become healthier, to become more productive members of their communities. And then you can use your free time and expanded income to contribute to the world as well, by spending, greater time, or spending more time with and bringing more joy to your loved ones. By traveling, by buying goods and services to help spread the wealth, all kinds of things. It's fantastic what you can do when you get serious about leveraging your time and working smarter. And in fact, I'm such a big believer in this idea of leveraging our time as business owners so that we can have a greater impact on not only our lives, but our communities as well, that I've put together this Leveraged Income Challenge, and I'd like to invite you to join me. So here's what it's all about. You simply watch your emails over the next week or so for notice of new videos, and the subject line is always going to begin with Leveraged Income Challenge, so that you always kind of know what to look for, and they're always going to be coming from me, Tammy Metzler. Alternatively, if you'd like, you can bookmark this page that you're seeing this video on and set your calendar to check back every couple of days for the next week so that you can catch the next all-new video. Then you just simply follow the links to watch the video, each new video, which I'm going to keep as short and sweet as possible to help fit into your busy schedule, and each of which will help to bring you one step closer to better leveraging your time as a business owner so that you can serve more people and earn more money while working less. And at the end of each video, I'll provide you with one simple question or assignment and show you where to go to submit your answer to my team. And I promise each of these, they're not complicated, they're not lengthy. They shouldn't take you more than a minute or two to complete tops. And for each answer that you submit to us, you'll be entered for a chance to win a prize valued at about $2,500, which I'm going to share more about throughout this video series. And that's it. Super easy. That's how you follow along. That's how you get involved in the Leveraged Income Challenge. Okay, so let's dive right in. What is your fastest path to leveraged income, which is the very first video that we're going to be talking about today? First of all, let's talk about what is leveraged income. You know, for those of you who maybe are new in business, maybe you haven't heard this term before, you're just not quite familiar with it. Let's talk about this a little bit. So typically there are 3 types of income that you can earn in a service-based business. So if you're running a business that primarily provides services like coaching or virtual assistants, something like that, there's 3 types of income that you can earn. The first type is active. This is where you work one-on-one with each individual client. So this active income typically involves the highest pay rate, but it also involves the highest time commitment for you. And because of that, you can quickly reach a cap in both your time and your income, the number of people that you can serve. You hit a ceiling at some point because there's only so many hours in the day. So if you charge, let's say $50 per hour, just kind of to keep things nice and easy, and you know, maybe you're working as a coach or a virtual assistant, and you sign on, let's say 20 billable hours each week. That's $1,000 a week or $4,000 per month. Now, that's nothing to sneeze at. But unless you raise your rates, which can be difficult to do successfully without resistance from your clients, or significantly increase your workload, which means that you're actually working more, you can't expect to earn much more than that. You've kind of hit your cap. You've hit your ceiling. Okay, so that's active income. Leveraged income, which is really what we're focusing on in this training series, is where you work one-to-many. Okay, and so instead of working one-to-one, you work one-to-many, and you do that by delivering information and either coaching or training to many people at once. Okay, an example of this might be if you held a conference or a live event and you sold tickets to people who wanted to attend. You might still have to cap enrollment into these events at some point if it's in person and you have limited space, but in cases of virtual events, there is often no cap. So you can serve dozens or even hundreds of people at once. And the beauty of this is that you just need to put together your materials of the information that you want to share one time to then be delivered to many people, which means that you're cutting down on the amount of time spent per dollars earned. So for example, just to kind of help get the wheels turning on what this might look like for you, if you design a 4-hour event, and let's say that you're going to ballpark that it's going to take you about 6 hours to put together the materials for the event. If you put your 4 hours that you're going to be holding the event plus the 6 hours of prep time, that's 10 hours of work that you need to account for, right? And if you charge $300 for people to attend your event, you can enroll just 10 people into your event to earn what amounts to $300 per hour. If you enroll 20 people, you've just doubled your hourly rate to $600 per hour for the same amount of work. So I hope you can see why I'm so excited about this, because the possibilities are really endless. The sky is truly the limit because it can keep going up from there. Okay. The third type of income is passive income, and you've probably heard of this before, and there's some myths around this to where it's not entirely passive. You do have to do some work, but what's great about this is that you work once. Say you're writing a book or you're putting together some kind of a training program. You do the work one time and then you can sell it over and over and over again with little to no extra time on your part. There really is no cap that I'm aware of on this type of income, as you can sell as many of these programs and products as you like. And in fact, in the third video of this series, we're going to talk about ways that you can use the information that you'll learn over these next few videos to lead seamlessly into a passive income stream for your business with very little additional work. Okay, so we're going to talk about how you can put together your leveraged income streams and then turn those into passive income streams when you're done. It's pretty cool. I think you're going to like it. Okay, so let's move right along and talk about what is your fastest path to leveraged income. So the fastest path that I have found is to start with a group program or training workshop. Now, I recently received an email asking what a group program is. So in case you're not familiar with this terminology, I'm just going to explain it here very briefly. So basically, a group training or coaching program can be structured in different ways, but typically it involves delivering useful information to registrants of the group program on a set time limit. So it could be once per week, once per month, perhaps twice a month. And it's often this training is often delivered via teleconference, which multiple people can dial into to get the information. You might even open the lines at the end for a question and answer, or hold a separate live question and answer session where people can dial in and ask their questions. There are other elements that can be added into a group program to make it just really irresistible to attendees without adding a lot more time to your workload. And I'm going to cover that in another training in this series, so stay tuned for that. I just kind of wanted to give you a little heads up and kind of get you excited about that. Okay, now the other thing that I want to make sure you're aware of, because I can almost feel a little bit of hesitation from some of you, is that I want you to know this can work for your business. Leveraged income, group programs, training workshops, that sort of thing, they can be used in practically any type of service business that I am aware of. If you're a virtual assistant, for example, you can lead a program teaching business owners how to use Excel, for example. A bookkeeper can run a program teaching solopreneurs how to organize their business taxes or how to take advantage of the most possible deductions. Okay? A coach can run a program solving a particular problem, like finding a soulmate if you're a relationship coach, or setting up a healthy meal plan to lose 10 pounds in 2 months if you're a nutrition coach. Okay? Now, a lot of professionals shy away from these type of trainings because they're kind of thinking in the back of their minds that it's going to take away people's need to hire them one-on-one for their, what we'll call, bread and butter services, right? But most often it does exactly the opposite. Here's why. Running workshops and training programs can very quickly position you as an expert and help you seem more desirable and knowledgeable to potential clients. Also, there will always be folks who either can't afford your one-on-one time or have other reasons for wanting to access the information, such as a desire to do the work themselves, or maybe a desire to train a current employee to do the tasks correctly. In which case, you can choose to either offer them an option to work with you at a lower rate or have them pass you by completely. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind is that some people will take a training program from you with the desire to do it themselves and then find that perhaps the subject is more involved than they originally thought. And they either don't have the time or the desire to tackle the task on an ongoing basis. So they end up hiring you one-on-one after the fact. Or they go through the program and feel like they need more of your attention. And because they took your course and feel confident that you know what you're talking about, they decided to hire you for more in-depth guidance. Okay, so there's a lot of different reasons why this can really be beneficial for you, even if you are wanting to keep your one-on-one services intact. This doesn't have to be an end-all, be-all. Okay? Now, let's talk about the three main types of, that should be leveraged income, the three main types of leveraged income. The first is a group coaching program, as we've kind of discussed here. The second could be a how-to training workshop. Now, the difference between these is a group coaching program might be kind of geared towards helping people reach a specific goal. So it's more kind of goal-based. So for example, maybe to gain 3 new clients, to lose 10 pounds, something to that effect. A how-to training workshop, which I've run many times in my own business, is really better for technical topics. For example, how to write your website. It's one of my most popular workshops and that I run several times a year. And it's very in-depth, it's very step-by-step, and it includes a lot of templates and instructions to help people get it done themselves. Okay. And the third type is some kind of conference, whether it's in person or virtual, but it typically involves multiple speakers. It could involve just yourself, but more often than not, it involves multiple speakers, typically on one overall topic, such as marketing or nutrition, something like that. And this is different than your typical telesummit, which I'm sure you've heard of before, where people enroll for free and they get to listen to everybody, and maybe they can pay for an upgrade, pay for the transcripts, that sort of thing. This is something where they would actually pay to attend the conference. Okay, so I just want to make that very clear. So these are the three main types of leveraged income that you can have in your business. And I want you to be thinking about these and which one you think might be better suited for your business, because we're going to revisit this in a few moments. Okay? But first, I want to talk about the number one mistake that business owners make. Okay? Oftentimes, business owners will work for weeks, months, or even years creating content for their book or their training program first, and then try to sell it. Okay? I have been there and I have done that, and I've gotten burned by it in the process. And I'm going to share with you why this is so risky. There's actually several reasons why this can be very risky for you. Number one, there's no guarantee that people in your target market actually want this information. I know that can be hard to hear, and it's been hard for me as well. There's been programs that I've tried to launch that just weren't a good fit. You know, they just didn't quite resonate with my audience, and it happens. It happens to everybody. But this is why it's so helpful to sell first and then go through and create the material once you know that people want it. Because you just may find out that this isn't something that they're really that interested in. Okay? Number two, second reason this can be very risky is that there's no guarantee that your potential clients will be willing to pay for this information. And yes, there is a difference. So some information may catch people's interest, but they might not place enough importance on it to actually open their wallet and buy it. Okay? So you need to have a product or a program that people want and that they're willing to pay for. Okay, risk factor number 3, if no one buys this program that you've put all this time into creating, you have wasted weeks, months, or even years of your time and potentially resources if you hired people to help you put it together. And they're gone. You can't get that back. You can't get that time back. You can't get those financial resources back. They're just done. So here's what you want to do instead. You want to sell first, create second. Yes, that's right. You want to start selling seats into your training program or workshop before you put together a single training session or material. That's not to say that you aren't going to put any time into creating this program, because of course you still need to outline it and write the promotional materials, but you haven't spent hour upon hour writing training materials that no one buys. Okay, so I'm going to tell you just a really quick story on how this happened to me. The first book that I wrote, called Profitable Newsletters, I did backwards because I didn't know any better. I wrote it first and then I tried to sell it. So I spent an entire month from start to finish focusing on nothing but writing this book, with the idea that I could then promote it and just make a bundle, kind of recoup my time. Problem is that at that time I was living paycheck to paycheck with no savings to rely on, so it was a huge gamble. And it turned out not to be the overnight success I'd hoped for. It didn't earn me hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars right away. And now to this day, it's been a good earner for me, as it still sells consistently, but it wasn't like I launched it and, just earned all this money into my bank right away to recoup the time that I put into it. I learned my lesson after that, and now I never create the content for a program without selling enough seats into it first to make it worthwhile. And what I mean by making it worthwhile is that if I guesstimate it's going to take me 10 hours of work to put on the workshop, and I only sell one person in at $300, then that translates to about $30 per hour. Now, if you have full confidence in your program and you know that you just didn't have the chance to promote it fully, then you might choose to go ahead and host the conference and then try to sell the transcripts later. But otherwise, you might realize that the program is a dud and choose to cancel it and refund the people who already paid, cut your losses, and move on. That's happened to me before also. And most every successful entrepreneur who's being honest will admit to at least one program launch flop. Okay, where they go to launch a program and nobody buys. And it can sting a bit, but it's better to find out before you put the work in than after. So if you find out that your program isn't a hot topic with your audience, you can use that as a learning moment and spend some time refocusing your efforts. Okay, so that is it for today's training. I hope it's been helpful for you. Now let's talk about the assignment for you to complete. So what I want you to do for this week, it should not take you very long, is to choose the type of leveraged income you will pursue. Are you going to try to put together a coaching program, an in-depth training workshop, and a conference, in-person conference, virtual conference, that sort of thing? What is it that you think you're going to try to put together? Okay, shouldn't take you very long at all, as I said. So pick one, and then we'll talk a little bit more in the next, the coming trainings on how to move it forward from there. Okay, and here's how you actually submit your assignment. Simply click the Enter the Contest link below this video. You'll be taken to a new page where you can submit your answer, and that will automatically and officially throw your hat in the ring for a chance at a prize worth $2,500. So I thank you so much for your time. Good luck to you, and I'll see you soon.